complicated subject, so let's talk about disaster recovery. It will never happen to me, all right? So it never does. There's never fires, there's never floods, there's never earthquakes, there's never tsunamis, and somewhere, along the way, our technology, our production technology can be impacted. The latest, trendiest thing is crypto locking ransomware. So if you use Avid or live production systems, is to have your storage crypto locked, it's not a nice situation to be in, because producers are going to be shouting, editors are start shouting at you, and you may start missing contractual targets and obligations to deliver stuff. So a little bit about us. We've been around a while. We're well known for working particularly in the Avid environment. So we're managing something like 70 petabytes of Avid NEXIS worldwide. And some of these companies are really big household names who you consume their productions. And all sorts of different companies. This is a small subset of the people we work with. And what we're going to be talking about today is one of the products that we do, which is workspace tools, workspace backup for disaster recovery. Okay, and I'll try not to feedback if I can help it. I squeal on occasion. So, okay, so we're Avid Platform certified. That is the highest form of Avid Platform certification. So they're in our labs, we're in their labs. So it means it works. So, work in progress, business critical. If they disappear, it's not going to be a good day. A large Nexus. So Nexus, you're talking about sometimes half a petabyte. I know people who have 3 petabytes. It starts to become an issue, particularly in terms of recovery. And I mentioned some of the things earlier on, so why don't you just use dumb IT software? Well, there's some good reasons for that. One is, it takes a very, very long time to recover a large Nexus system. A large one could take you a month to recover, all right? So, big outage, I can't do anything for a month, and everybody's squealing at me, so it gets a little bit stressy, as you can imagine. So Cloudian On-Prem S3 is an ideal way of protecting your work in progress with our software. So what's so special about our software? Well, one thing that's really important is that we have our own analytics. And so we can look at the Avid native media, and within an NEXIS or ISIS, if you look at it, it means nothing to the outside world. It may be written in some foreign language that you've never been able to translate, hieroglyphics even. And what we can do is also externalize the projects. That means in the backup, they are directly readable. And that becomes really critical when you are recovering a system. So here we're gonna go. We're gonna have a bad day at the office. So, half a petabyte of Nexus. We're gonna write the first backup, which is gonna be a pretty big one. And thereafter, we're just gonna write the changes, okay? As the more media gets ingested, it gets reflected here. And at the end of the retention period, and you can set that to whatever you like, we will start to delete, okay? Because it was deleted, let's say here, and in day 1, that deletion will not happen here until the end of the retention period. And that's very useful for operational reasons. So let's just move on a little bit, and we're gonna kill the Nexus. Very, very bad day. Everybody's shouting at each other. It's really stressy in the house. So the conventional approach is to say, okay, I've backed this up, but I'm going to take a month to get it back again. All right? But we did something really clever, if you remember. We ran the analytics on the Nexus. Oh, sorry. An animation disappeared, which allows us to go back into any day in any point in the backup and directly recover the project. Okay? So that means, sorry if I'm in the way. So that means you could directly recover onto a media composer or a group of media composers the project and start working, probably within an hour or so. You're not waiting for a month. So When people say I've got a DR plan, well, actually, does it work and how fast does it work? Now, we're talking about hours to get back into production. You could say, well, actually, I've got another really business critical workspace, which is a subset of this. So you might have a Nexus Pro, and with another free tool which comes with this, we can restore to another Nexus, and then you can get up and running. So the key thing here is it's a business decision. What is your most urgent production that you are working on? And this is a great solution for it, particularly with Cloudian. So the other nice thing that we do is we scale the bandwidth. So let's say you're working on a fast turnaround, America's Got Talent, something like that. Lots of ingest. You want to be able to write more of those changes to the storage. So what we're able to do is put fewer licenses on more servers, and that way we achieve much higher bandwidth. On long-form documentaries, we don't need that kind of bandwidth. So you can scale the bandwidth according to what you're actually producing, which is another very useful feature. So we're going to have a really, really bad day at the office, and we're going to lose the whole facility. Okay, that's exceptionally bad, right? So we lost the local backup. So what you can also do is back up to cloud remotely. So to some form of S3, and then we'll use exactly the same tools that we used before to recover from the backup to another facility. And so that way you've mitigated all types of risk. You've mitigated risk within the facility, you get back into production quickly, and in the worst possible scenario, for whatever reason, I can't even get into the building, you can still continue your productions. So people talk a lot about cloud. This is actually what cloud looks like to those people that are recovering the project. So here we can see the version, and it just looks like a completely conventional way of recovering a project. So the nice thing is you don't have to recover the whole thing. You can just go in and get particular elements of that project and recover it and start working. So this it's well tried and tested. As I said, it makes S3 look like a conventional folder. So it's clever, it's not stupid. That's bullet one. It's actually automated, so you can set and forget it. You don't need your smart people to be backing the system up using up valuable time. It also has a web UI, so you can remotely access the system if you couldn't get into the facility. And we are probably 100 times faster than anybody else that's out there, to that point where you get back into production. And what do you start working on first? Well, it's a business decision rather than waiting for the whole thing to be recovered, and then maybe it recovered correctly or not. And Cloudian, because the performance and the scale, is an ideal platform to write to. We've got some very big customers. Denmark's radio have 2/3 of a petabyte. Envy in the UK. I just remembered this isn't our US customer list. I should have put that up, but we've got some really big clients in the US as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today.